March 11th, 2022 AD, the assassination of Elagabulus. On this date, March 11th, 2022 AD, Roman Emperor Elagabulus was assassinated. The 18-year-old reigned for less than 4 years. He succeeded Macrinus, the first Roman emperor to never step foot in Rome. His 14-month reign came to an end when he was executed by Elagabulus's tutor, Gannus, who sent him his head as a present. He was born Sextus Basinius, but preferred the name Elagabalus due to his family roots as hereditary right to the priesthood of the Phoenician sun god Elagabal. He would later become the high priest of the cult. Elagabalus was named emperor by the Roman Senate after accepting his claim to be the rightful son of Caracalla and changed his name to Marcus Aurelius Antonius at the age of 14 to solidify legitimacy. But the real power behind Elagabalus was his mother, Julia Bassiana, and his grandmother, Julia Messa, who used their wealth to pull strings with senators and generals to make Elagabalus rise to the top. Julia Messa claimed that her daughter slept with Caracalla and that Elagabalus was his bastard son and used her pull to build support for her grandson's claim as the rightful heir. His mother and grandmother now had him in power and ruled the empire through him and made a majority of decisions due to his extreme uncouth mannerisms and immature behavior. Well, he was a teenage boy after all. During his short reign, the two became the first women to not only be allowed in the Senate, but were given senatorial titles. Julia Bassinia was given Clarissima, and Julia Messa was named Mater Castorum et Senatus. The first two things they did with Elagabalus' support was to combine the sun god Elagabal and the Roman god Helios to create Deus Sol Invictus. And the grandmother made Elagabalus adopt his cousin Servius Alexander as his heir. During the next 3 years, Elagabalus, after killing all the allies and associates of the previous emperor Macrinus, lived the life of a wild, decadent teenager, despite being married 3 times. His open homosexuality made his guards and the Senate uncomfortable. As he grew older, began to identify himself as a woman, wearing makeup, wigs, and tried to find a doctor who could make him into a woman. But the Senate had enough with his attempt to make his religion of worshipping Elagabal supersede that of the Roman gods. He built the Elagabalium, which was originally a temple to worship the sun, but converted it to house a holy black rock, which many historians believed may have been a meteorite. Realizing that his support as emperor was waning, his grandmother, Julia Messa, turned to her other daughter, Julia Mema, and had Elagabalus, designated heir, Servius Alexander, made Caesar and co-ruler with his cousin. Elagabalus did not like this arrangement and having to share his title with his cousin and tried to get rid of him, because he knew with him around his days were numbered, so he spread a rumor that Servius had died just to see how the Praetorian Guard would react to the news of his death, and it caused a riot in Rome. When the news reached the Praetorian Guard, they demanded to see the emperor and Severus Alexander back in their barracks. The guards cheered when they saw that Severus was alive, and they proclaimed him the new emperor. Elagabalus was furious and demanded that all the guards who took place in the celebration to be arrested and executed immediately. The Praetorian Guard instead turned towards Elagabalus and his mother, who accompanied him to the barracks, and they attacked them both. According to Roman historian Cassius Dio, he made an attempt to flee and would have gotten away somewhere by being placed in a chest had he not been discovered and slain at the age of 18. His mother, who embraced him and clung tightly to him, perished along with him, and their heads were both cut off, and their bodies, after being stripped naked, were first dragged all over the city, and then the mother's body was cast aside somewhere, while his was thrown into the Tiber River. After his assassination, all of Elagabalus' supporters and his last spouse, his husband, Heracles, were executed. His name was erased from public record, his temple was cleaned out, and the holy black rock was sent back east. Women were again officially banned from the Senate, and all the statues and frescoes in the city bearing his image were erased and replaced by his successor, Severus Alexander. His first wife, Julia Paula, disappeared around the time of his death. His second wife, Aquila Severa's fate after his death is still unknown. Annia Faustina, his third wife, after divorcing him, remarried a Roman senator and managed to survive the purge of her ex-husband.